All right, so I let's talk about Cry Macho because obviously, Rob, you disagree with me a bit. I'm going to give you a fair chance to defend the film. I think Clint's latest film was not something I can highly recommend, but you liked it a lot more than me. So I'm going to let you make your case and convince me how I'm wrong about Cry Macho.
Okay, okay. Well, I will agree that it was slow moving, definitely slow moving. But oops, sorry about that. The story of it I liked. What I would have liked to have was a little bit further afterwards. Because you always want to see a little bit more of the story. But I like anything with Clint Eastwood, so I'm kind of biased to that from the beginning. I've been a Clint Eastwood fan for many, many years, and I liked how his the characters he plays have evolved as he's aged. So, but the story with this, while it was slow, I thought it was a great story. Just the whole, not only was it the story of the kid and him, but also, him finding that relationship that he lost so long ago. So it's kind of like a second chance for him in the movie. So that kind of thing, kind of, I enjoy it. I know it's like a chick statement, but I did enjoy it. So
All right, well, you said it, not me. I mean, I don't have to call you a chick and all, but it was. All right, so the first problem with the film for me was it opens and Clint is made to look really, really feeble and aged and barely capable of driving to Mexico. Like it's almost like crotchety old man who can barely get along. And then later in the film, he's suddenly able to punch a young guy in the face, throwing him on his behind. He's breaking a Bronco and all this. And I'm like, okay, the film's not consistent like at all
yeah,
with his
but you know
character.
what? I think the at the beginning he was just somebody who was broken. He just had no purpose. When you have no purpose, you look feeble. You don't really you have no direction. And then when he went on this thing to get to pay back his boss, basically, the more he got involved with it, I think it gave him more of a purpose. He kind of reconnected with himself, and as it went on, I think you see him become stronger because he's feeling better. He's got a purpose now. He's driven for something. Where at the
All
beginning
right.
he was just like had nothing,
I can see that a
just
little bit.
just
He's
counting
also
down the
not
days.
drinking, right? They kind of play up him drinking early in the film, and then by the time you get to when he's with the kid, he's not drinking at all.
Right, exactly.
All right, that
So
part I can give you. But it is still kidnapping, right? We are still going to just be honest, right? It is still kidnapping. Here's the thing. So
yeah.
is all right. So what about the whole side story? Because it's sort of like it's a big part of the movie, and then it's not, and then there's like little sprinkles, and then nothing. And that is with the mom. The mom's basically like this female drug cartel leader, and she's sending out her little toadies to go after Mike and get the kid. And it kind of goes along a little bit in their confrontations, and it kind of goes away, and it kind of comes back, goes away, comes back. Did that all work for you? Okay, I mean, were you good with all that?
Well, you know what? There was some things that were kind of far fetched. I mean, here he is, this 80
Just a
year old man.
just a few.
A little bit of this 80-year-old man, and
Punching
when
some
she
young
tried to make a
boy right in
move
the
on
face.
him,
I know.
you know,
She's hitting on Clint, and then she takes
like, come
offense, and he's
on.
like, "Listen, I'm like your grandfather," and she's like, "No,
I
how
know,
you dare
right?
you say no to me?" And I'm like, "What?"
Right, exactly. Like, no, that doesn't really matter. And even though I enjoyed the whole, romance thing in it, even that was a little far fetched in the sense that you have this middle aged, attractive Spanish woman, and you have this 80-year-old plus, cowboy. And I just, as much as I enjoyed it, it still is a little far fetched.
All right, so how far
And
fetched is it when he finds the love interest later on, the little Spanish lady that he eventually settles down with and married? Because she's
right,
still
yeah. But
also like a
because then,
she's more
I
like a
could have,
daughter at least, not a granddaughter, so it's a little bit more believable. But
yeah, I don't know. I
Clint's
just,
swinging above his weight there. I'm saying.
if, right, the fact that I know that he's in his 80s is always in the back of my mind when you see him with these younger women.
Yeah,
And it's like, yeah, okay.
it's a little much.
I think even
So
in the 70s, that really didn't fly very much, you know.
Well, okay, so that part, I actually am nitpicking there. I actually like the middle of the film. I love the interactions with the kid. I do like the growth of Mike. I love the love interest part. The movie,
And we have to admit, the star of the show was the rooster.
I wish there was more Rooster. I wish there was more Macho. I wanted more Macho. Is what I wanted. And I'm not even gonna like nitpick like the message of Clint and talking to the kid or whatever. Except I will nitpick that the end of the movie to me ruined the movie for me. So, folks, if you haven't seen my full review, I go through the details, and you go through this big journey, and they set up this scene. They get pulled over right before the border, and they basically think they're drug mules, so they're destroying the
Right.
car. And then there's no conflict, and I'm like, okay, I expected there to be more conflict, and there's not. And then basically the kid just crosses the border and goes with his dad. That's the end of the movie for the kid. Clint's
Well, he
character
did
Mike
slip
goes
up
back
some
with the
money.
lady.
He did
Well,
slip the cops some money
right, paid off the
to
cop,
look
but
the
the
other
cops
way.
weren't there. The cops weren't there to really. They thought he was a drug mule, basically, right?
Right.
I
Yeah,
mean, it
of
was
course.
But the kid ended up with the dad. There's no real moral positive for this kid. He's basically just a pawn between the mom and dad. Still, Mike didn't.
Absolutely.
Mike,
Absolutely. That
Mike
was
just
a
enabled a bad situation to get worse. I couldn't believe that's where we ended up with this, and it was all
see.
about
I
Mike.
would have preferred him to be honest with the kid, which he was. But then I'm just say, you know what? Just stay with us, and you know, because the lady's granddaughter connected with the kid, you
Yeah,
know,
it's set up perfectly for the
so
kid
he
to
could
go
have just
back with
settled
his
down in
dude.
that town and been done with it. So even though, but see, those are a lot of things I overlook when the big picture of the movie. I'm like, okay, I can overlook some of that stuff because it's
Oh,
a
I just
Clint
can't
Eastwood
do it.
movie.
I just can't.
See, I give him
Yeah.
I give him some liberty because he's Clint Eastwood.
All right.
Uh,
All right. So you're at least being fair that you're
of
admitting
course.
the Clint Eastwood bias added at least a star for you. Like you at
Oh
least
yeah.
gave it a bump at least. Okay. See, I can't do that. I can't be that dishonest. I just
See,
can't.
I'm
I love
holding
Clint
out
Eastwood.
for an 85-year-old Dirty Harry to come back.
Oh no,
You know,
please no. Come on. We already have like 80-year-old Harrison Ford trying to pretend to be Indiana
I mean,
Jones.
they're
It's gonna
doing,
be terrible.
70-year-old Rocky. They could at least do 85-year-old.